And fear is just a liar, that you are a child of God and you can do it. We knew, we prayed, we listened, and we were like, all in, let's go. And just don't stop. Like when something gets hard and there's a hurdle or there's something that looks like, oh, now it's not going to work, find a way around it. Or take a minute, pause, and like pivot. And you might have to change directions of what you thought you were doing.
Yeah. Hey guys, it's Nancy, and welcome to the She Laughs podcast. Sit down with me while I chat and get personal with some insanely cool women as they share their smarts and their hearts. God gave us each unique gifts, and we got to use them. Inside each one of us is a cool girl. So buckle up. Let's get vulnerable. Let's get real, and let's laugh. Hi guys, welcome back to the She Laughs podcast. And today I'm like super excited because this is just a personal, wonderful person and friend that I know that has agreed to be on here today. And she and her sister are so talented. I have Margaret and Sarah here today, the sisters that are making these amazing boots we're going to talk about. And before I turn it over to them, I'd like to read y'all a little bit about them from their bio that just sums up who they are and what they're doing. Best friends and sisters, the two founded Fraulein Boot Company in 2021 with a goal, cuter boots. They have created a line of vintage-inspired cowboy boots to fit that bill. Growing up with cowboy boots on their feet, the sisters are the authentic embodiment of amazing boots. So welcome, guys, today. I'm so happy. Yeah, it's just so great. And right before I turn it over to y'all, Margaret and she was doing a pop-up in Houston, and I walked by and I was like, oh my gosh, these are the boots I love. And I walk in and there she was, and we just started talking about how she and Sarah started this company. And it really aligns with our message here at She Laughs, which is grabbing that inner gift that you have and that recognizing that calling and that feeling and not dismissing it, really just going, okay, this feels scary, but it feels really exciting and we're going to do this thing. And so I would love for y'all to, now I'm finally turning it over to you, to tell everybody a little bit about you two and how this got started.
All right.
Good. Like so many career paths, you pivot sometimes, and COVID was a pivot for us. I had a medical device sales job that was just a job. It wasn't anything I was super passionate about, and I lost it during COVID. And so the wheels started turning on what's next, and I was upset. When you lose a job, you're upset. And I was like, what,
Sure.
what do I do now? I'm in my mid-40s and have done a bunch of different, who am I? Done a bunch of different sales and marketing jobs. And my husband was like, do something fun. Do something you really want to do. This is the time, and just do it. And so Margaret and I have always worn vintage cowboy boots growing up, and both have amassed quite a collection. And people are always calling us during rodeo, can I borrow some boots, or can you help style me for the rodeo, or stuff like that. And that's how the idea came to be. And I took my sister.
You called Margaret and said, what?
We were at dinner for my mom's birthday. And she was like, I have to ask you something.
And her birthday is April 1st. So I'm sure she was like, what is this? Because
April Fool's Day. But I literally thought she was going to ask for like a kidney or something.
So I was real serious because I'd already been like, we got to do this.
And I had been on the sidelines with my career path. I had done retail years before, had a store in San Antonio, and took some time to focus on my kids. They both had dyslexia, and so I'd been an advocate for them and have been doing some other stuff. But Charles was getting ready to go off to school, and I wanted something professionally and creative. And so when Sarah said, I think we should start a cowboy boot business, I was like, yes, we should. Oh my gosh, this is like the best idea ever. And literally that is when I remember thinking, like, you see all these girls in a line of boots and they're boring. They're not fun.
Sure.
That was the question she popped.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that. So y'all are all fired up and woo. But then what happens a lot of times, I would say, I don't know any official statistics, but just having lived a life, when a great idea is born, people are like, oh, I'm so in. And then it's wrong. You're really fired up and the wheels are turning. And then it gets hard. It gets scary, or you're at the
Scary.
very beginning and you're like, I don't know. I don't know. And then it was a great idea, but life pulls at you in all these directions and it gets abandoned. So how
Right.
did y'all?
We have had
This is
other
interesting.
ideas.
This is a great question because we have had other ideas and we're like writing things on a cocktail napkin and we're like, okay, it's our first meeting. Great. That went great.
Yeah.
But this resonated so well. We also had a friend that I think you always have to take advice from people who know more than you. And I had a friend who had worked as a business consultant for Jimmy Choo and like big time names. So she was one of the first phone calls that we were like, let's see what she says. We need her stamp of approval before we plunge on into this. And she was like, I think it is a great idea. There's not very many people in this lane. So unlike the other ideas, this idea just seems so meant to be. And I think it was something that like we couldn't, that when we first started, some of the marketing guys we were working with, they were like, oh my gosh, Fraulein's never sleep, because we were so incredibly passionate. I would wake up in the morning and do a herky. I'd be so excited to do the next thing.
And when we started, we were like figuring everything out from the get-go. And it was like, if you don't know this, you call someone who you think might know better, and just lots of nice, helpful people along the way that were generous with their time and their resources. Just
advice.
So we're trying to carry that on. Anything, if we find something that's like making our business easier or better, we're like, we got to tell people. We got to tell our other friends that are starting things.
Any new entrepreneur that's actually, especially if they're like in the fashion line or whatever, are one of our favorite. We feel like it is part of our ethos to connect people and to help people and to. That's one thing we didn't realize as a woman in business. Sometimes people are not as nice. So
you come across both sides. Some people that want to hold everything that they have, that they've worked for, and they don't want to share any resources or any information, and that's so limiting. Like the people that are generous with their resources and their time and their context, I just think karma together, always lifting other people up, you're gonna come out in a better place, morally and business.
Attitude. Yeah. And I just finished a study I was doing. Where is that? I'm trying to think of the name of it. Hang on. It was Created to Dream by Rick Warren. And
he's so good.
You have a dream. And one of the things he said in the steps of a dream on how to pursue it is asking others who have gone before you or who have more experience. And both of y'all have mentioned that. And then the other one he says is tell people about your dream and what you're doing, because what you'll find is those that God's put out there to really support you will do what you've said. Come forward and cheer you on or offer support in a way of, I know you should call so-and-so, or have you thought about this, or you'd be great at this part. It really helps.
That's so cool.
Going. Yeah. And then
I can't wait to read that.
I know. We both
seems like it's meant to be.
It
was really amazing.
Cool. And I think it's y'all. I mean, what you're saying, because to me, and also he says to vet out the dream. And I did not anticipate to bring this into the call today. It's just going to happen with what y'all are saying. But he talks about how even recognizing, is this dream something I'm really supposed to do, or is it something I'm just excited about? And typically what his advice is, if it's really something and a gift that he's given you, you'll know, just like you said, you will know. And people will say, y'all are going to be so good at that. This is so great. Validate that. And it sounds like y'all have. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know Rick Warren is faith-based and you are faith-based. And from the beginning, it was something that we prayed about, really. Sure. And we continue to, like every little obstacle or hiccup, we're like, we literally need to pray about it and see what the answer is.
I love that. I love that. And then when you have peace, what I hear is when you have peace about it, even though you're not hearing a voice going, move this direction. You have peace. That's the direction to go, right? So you're
For
just
sure.
blindly going.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Definitely.
well, one thing,
Absolutely.
guys, so for those of y'all watching, not listening, these are the boots that I bought my first pair of Fraulein boots, and
They're
I
so
love them.
you.
They are so
Yeah,
happy.
with the sunshine on the heel. I can't take it. They're so cute. So I y'all tell me how y'all come up with your designs and where you get the inspiration. Where does that come from?
Yes.
So that boot, that whole line we did, it was like a musically, everything was based off of a song. That boot that you have is Willie Nelson has a song called Bring Me Sunshine. And we had a snake boot that was Tom T. Hall's Sneaky Snake. And the Thunderbird was literally like AC/DC Thunderstruck. And then, yeah, so, and then that was that line. The line we just launched,
The Texas collection.
the Texas collection, was we had at some point realized you always talk about inspiration from travel. And we're like, when we were kids, we never really, we did road trips.
We didn't leave Texas much. And all our memories are based in these great places that we grew up going and driving, just road trips. But we had a little fishing cabin on Bolivar Peninsula, which if you're Houston area, you know where that is. Not on Galveston, but on the peninsula. And it was a very rustic,
one room, double bed bunk beds.
Carpet sample squares from the 70s was the carpet. My parents bought it in 73, I think.
No AC, box fans. And we
was-
would leave when our sheets were too sandy.
Yeah, my mom would be like, the sheets are too sandy, it's time to go home.
But we had a little patch of buttercups outside on the property. And anytime we'd have a friend come, we would smell the buttercups.
And we like shove it in their face.
Get buttercup pollen on them. And so that was one of the boots. And then one is our We to Farm in East Texas with the same kind of housing situation. One room, double bed bunk beds. That was my dad's
picnic table.
Go-to.
Inside was the table. That was how we would.
It's really all you need.
It's all you need.
But then dogwoods bloom in East Texas and around Easter time. And we always had an annual Easter time trip out there. And then West Texas is their cactus boot with beautiful ocotillo and prickly pears on either side. Sarah was married at the Gauge.
We just have always loved West Texas. We had friends, like family friends that moved to El Paso when we were young. And so my mom was a teacher, so we had spring break.
Texas history, no less.
Yes, Texas history teacher. And so we did like a major road trip to go visit them and stopped basically at every historical marker. I think it took us 2 days to get there. But spent time in the Big Bend and Terlingua and the Gauge.
Oh, it's such a cool part of the state.
Yes, and we both just have always loved it and go out there 2 or 3 times a year. So that was our Texas collection and all kind of our highlights of our childhood favorite places.
And Fraulein, we should mention the name of the song. The name of our company was, so Fraulein's an old country western song, and it was our dad's favorite song. He passed away when we were young girls, and when we were looking for the name, we couldn't come up with everything. Everything was just...
We had a list a mile long, and they were all just coming off cheesy and hokey.
We need to find our list. But anyway, I was driving. Coulter Wall and Tyler Childers did a cover of Fraulein.
It's so good.
And it was on the radio when I was driving. I called Sarah. I was like, I found our name.
I know. We were both falling. It was like, that was like from above.
Yeah, so it has special meaning to us.
I love that. And that's what I love so much about what y'all have done, but that it is so personal, right? That you're bringing in your own personal experiences in life into this to share with others in such a cool girl, beautiful way. It's just awesome. Okay, so I see that a lot of, it looks like to me from Instagram, I follow y'all religiously because your Instagram is so fun. It's so fun to watch. I really love how y'all have done it. But it seems to me that, and just hearing what you've said, that a lot of your inspiration is tied to music as well. So y'all must have
that's a huge piece of it, for sure.
Yeah. Where does that come from? Yeah, where does that?
Also, just growing up in Texas and love for country music. And they're so funny. I was thinking this the other day. We need to do a playlist of all our like favorite childhood songs and connect to the boots. But there were songs we'd hear. We had an 8-track tape player at the beach
Oh,
house.
yeah.
And there's certain songs we'd hear and be like, oh, that's a beach house song. And I think it's because it's a song we'd heard on the 8-track player. Like we probably had 4 or 5 tapes, so we'd play over and over again. But then I put my finger on it, and it's any song with a steel guitar. I don't know why. But that is what it is. Anyway, so beach house songs playlist coming soon.
Yeah, totally.
Love that. Oh my gosh. Clint Black sings a song about a steel guitar. I'm trying to think of that line. But yeah. Okay, that's so fun. Okay, for the women who are listening, who the premise of this podcast is so many women, we live in fear of we're not enough, or oh my gosh, it's gonna be so much work. Am I qualified? I don't have a background in this. I'm too young. I'm too old. I don't know enough. Whatever it is, and then we just shut down, and that dream just stays in a box somewhere.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So what would you tell the ladies listening how to know that little dream they have, like y'all did about the boots, is pursuing and to not give up? And when they're like, okay, what next? What to do? Because we get paralyzed. We're like, I don't know enough. I don't know what to do. Okay, enough.
Totally. I would say fear is just a liar. There's a song. It's a Christian song by that. And fear is just a liar, you know, that you are a child of God and you can do it.
Just be thoughtful and prayerful about it. First and foremost, spend time listening. And that's so hard to do when you're like, you're driven and you want to do something and you're like, this is it. And sometimes it's not. There's been several things that we've thought about doing that didn't come to fruition, and for good reason. It wasn't God's timing. It wasn't our timing. And this just, we knew, we prayed, we listened, and we were like, all in, let's go. And just don't stop. Like when something gets hard and there's a hurdle or there's something that looks like, oh no, it's not going to work, find a way around it, or take a minute, pause, and pivot. And you might have to change directions of what you thought you were doing. But
even when building our website, we'd be like talking at that time, they had Shopify support where you could talk to the people. We would get on the phone for 2 hours and be on this poor guy, his whole entire shift.
Saeed, I miss Saeed. He was the best. We'd be like, Saeed, can we call you direct? He's no, sorry, girls. Just look at the draw. But you'd get someone that was super helpful, and we would be like, oh, he would literally walk us through. We'd have no business building a website, but we did all by ourselves. And Saeed.
And with that same note, there's certain things that they'd be like, oh, we're going to have to do a workaround. We're like, we want it to be able to do this. And they're like, we've got to do a workaround. And that's something that we've come across in business, and whether it be technology or whatever, that sometimes you have to do a workaround. And just
for sure.
Like today, when it took us a minute to get, I was going to say, it took us a minute to get our technology set for this.
I know. You'd think by now we'd have that figured out, but every day.
There's always something, and technology can always throw you a curveball. But you're right, to just stick with it and don't wave the white flag. Don't just give up.
You know, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Like we were asking anyone we knew that we thought had a smart business brain or whatever brain that we needed for a particular thing. And people are usually very generous and kind and want to help. And don't ever feel like you don't have the skills, because you can always learn the skills or hire someone that
I think that is so true.
Outsource. 100%. Yes.
Yeah. You don't have to know everything, although we think we do. What about the people? Did y'all find people that maybe weren't super supportive, and that sometimes you'd go, oh, wow, I really.
Haters gonna hate. Just kidding.
But sometimes it comes from the people closest to you.
And problem.
That's on them.
That is on them.
I love that. Yeah.
I do think you can't get in your head about people judging you, people being, I don't know, my mom used to say, oh, they're just jealous.
She was the best and still is our best support system and inflator of self-esteem. She really gave us a solid foundation of you can do it. And I think also our dad passing away when we were teenagers, that could have been horrible, and it was horrible, but it was also we got this, girls. Like, she's been our rock, and
seeing her be able to do it.
Right. She was in her mid-40s, which I am, and I'm like, gosh, I can't imagine just pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, no pun intended. And she did. And
that was that's where she taught us where real faith in God is, the way that I read something, I think it was this morning, it said something about gratitude is being thankful for something you received, and faith is being basically grateful for what you believe. You just have to have faith.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Thanking him before you've received it is
totally.
Yeah.
Exactly. And even thanking him when things go wrong, because there's something that's going to come out of it that's good. So that's
earning or yeah.
And so the ideas that you have that may not have come to fruition, do you believe that those helped you get to where you are now with Fraulein Boots?
100%. Absolutely. Yes.
I think that's important for people to know, so that they don't think that didn't work out, so why would this work out? Just to know that they are learning as they're going, and whether they're learning new skills or just how to cope when something doesn't work out, or just to keep trusting in God that eventually something will happen, and everything that went wrong had a purpose.
Exactly.
And sometimes we'll never know why all that stuff didn't work out.
For sure. Absolutely.
But you know that if you stay with it, I think that's perseverance, is just don't give up. I have one last question. What do y'all's children, are they like, wow, or are they like, Mom, like, where are they in all of this? They're teenagers, right? Your kids?
All of hers are in their,
I've got 22 and 19.
And I have 14.
They've been very incredibly helpful. I'm sure a tidge bit irritated.
Annoyed. They don't, when we do silly stuff on Instagram, they're like, oh gosh, Mom, why?
Yeah, no.
Please, why would you post that?
We can't do that.
My son's not on Instagram yet, but he is on TikTok, and he was like, actually, y'all are doing the other day, I was like, on TikTok.
Oh, that's a huge endorsement.
I don't even know. But he was like, yeah, Mom, it's actually pretty cool. I'm like, thanks.
Yeah, it has been great to see them come from, I think they've evolved from what
are y'all doing?
To, wow, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
They're proud of us.
Yeah.
And that feels good to get that.
Yeah.
There's no one you want to impress more than your kids.
And to instill in them the you can do it attitude. I took my son on a mother-son trip last week to Oregon because he's about to go into high school. And I'm like, I know our time together is limited and he's not going to want to do a bunch of mom time. And we went fishing, and we were on the boat with this fishing guide and just chatting it up all day. And the guide was like, so what does your husband do for a living? And I was like, oh, he's in commercial real estate. And I didn't say anything. And Bear goes, Mom, tell him what you do for a living. And I was like, oh, that's the sweetest.
So sweet.
So that was a sweet, validating moment for knowing how proud he is of me. I'm like, that's you couldn't want anything more than that.
Yeah.
And it was so organic. It wasn't prompted or anything. It was just so genuine.
That's authentic.
I know. Yes. I also was like, what is this guy doing thinking women don't work anymore? Come on.
I was about to say, now, who was this guy?
It was lovely. And then he was so nice and so impressed. That is we're still in 2025. What does your husband do for a living? I'm like, oh, I do.
Right. That is so true and so maddening. Yeah. But we're getting there inch by inch.
Sorry.
With ladies like you, we are for sure. I cannot say enough about your boot, about what y'all have done. I think y'all are so talented and so much fun. And it just screams in your social media, and just y'all, I love it. It's just like sunshine.
You're so sweet. Yeah, so fun to talk to you. And I love the topic and emphasis of your podcast. I think it's so important to talk about.
It is. And so uplifting and inspiring.
I hope that the girls that are listening, the ladies who are listening, who are our age, older than us, younger than us, can just hear y'all's story and go, I'm going to do this thing, and grab hold of it and go for it. Because what have you got to lose? No,
totally.
Yeah, nothing and everything. To see a dream not be at least tried is, to me, really just a sad thing to never even go there. So what y'all have done is
Totally.
Thank
so
you.
Thank
awesome.
you so much.
Okay, everybody listening, you can find them on their website, which is frauleinboots.com, or on Instagram, which is the same, right? At frauleinboots.com.
Yes.
Okay. And I
Yes.
always forget how to spell it, but it's Fraulein. And I always do
Yes.
the IEN, but it's EEIN. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, for cute boots like this, which are so cute. I love mine. And so many others, check them out, guys. They are amazing, and their story is so inspirational. Thank you both so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nancy.
So fun. Okay, guys, until next time, I'll see you at the next She Laughs podcast. Thanks. Bye. Thanks so much for listening to She Laughs. If this episode encouraged you, would you share it with a friend who might need a little courage or a reminder that she's not alone? Every share helps more women find their inner cool girl and kick fear to the curb. You can find links to our guests, watch full episodes on YouTube, and connect with me on social at She Laughs Podcast Official, all in the show notes. And remember, the dream inside of you means something. Take the first step. Be brave. God's got your back. And girl, you've got this.